Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great myself because we finally have another Xbox fanboy to take a look at. Now, I know I kind of said the guy who we talked about last time was kind of on both sides, but now we finally have someone who is actually just an Xbox fanboy specifically, which finally, you know, these guys are a pretty rare breed, so whenever you find one, it is pretty exciting. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Dusty Turtle 8112 for the suggestion on this one. Thank you very much, good sir. Really do appreciate it because without you, I probably wouldn't have any content to make for a while. And just fair warning before we get into this, I'm not sure exactly how content's gonna go. I'm gonna do my best to keep looking, but you know, quantum stuff's been pretty quiet, and also fanboys have been pretty quiet as of recently. So I'll keep looking to see what we can find. But yeah, just know that uploads might be more spotty in the future, depending on what happens in the gaming industry. But anyway, this video we're looking at today can basically be summed up in this guy saying that Square Enix and Final Fantasy are trash, but he's still begging for Final Fantasy to come to Xbox, which is just about as dumb as it sounds. So without further ado, let's get into this.
What's up, everybody? It is the Best Bot Kiss Move back with another video, and we're talking Final Fantasy. They had their 25th anniversary for Final Fantasy VII, one of the most overrated games on the planet.
Well, you guys heard him right there. Final Fantasy VII is one of the most overrated games on the planet. But anyway, you guys heard him right there. He said Final Fantasy VII is one of the most overrated games on the planet. So it's a bit puzzling to me why soon he's going to be begging for this game to come to Xbox. And that's the thing about this video. It's just full of contradictions like that. He'll say, oh, this game sucks, it's overrated, but then he'll beg for it to come to Xbox a little later on. And obviously, everybody is entitled to their opinion, of course. If you think Final Fantasy is overrated, that's your opinion. Like, obviously, you know, there's no problem with having an opinion, but since we're talking about a fanboy here, you already know if this game was either on Xbox or an Xbox exclusive, he would probably be saying it's a great game. Or, you know, if it was an Xbox exclusive, he would probably be praising it and downplaying any little bit of criticism it got.
But before I give my thoughts on that, you like the shirt? It's comfy, colorful, bright. You can get it at internetaim.com/kissmove. My link is in the description below. Get 10% off the entire store. Get some graphic tees like this and some others that you might see me rocking in future videos. Now, let's get back to the video. So, they announced a couple things. You guys know I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan, but I am the advocate of Final Fantasy games and other JRPGs going to Xbox right now, because a lot of these games skip Xbox just for the case of skipping it for no reason.
So right off the bat, we have a very big contradiction. Remember just like 30 seconds ago, this man was saying that, oh, Final Fantasy is one of the most overrated games. And he just said right there, oh, he's not a big fan of it. And now apparently he's a huge advocate for it coming to Xbox. And he's saying there's no reason that it should skip Xbox. Well, I mean, I think Square Enix would have to disagree with you on that one, bud. Because yes, it does suck that it's an exclusive, but you have to look at it from a business standpoint. Sony offered them, I don't know how much money, but it was definitely a couple $100 million to make Final Fantasy an exclusive to the PlayStation, or at least a timed exclusive. And given how little copies JRPGs tend to sell on Xbox, which you know is an American Western console, it makes sense that, you know, a Japanese RPG, a JRPG, doesn't sell very well in America or on Xbox. So the money that Sony is giving them to take it off Xbox is probably more money than they would make by selling the game on Xbox. So again, it does kind of suck that it's not on Xbox, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people on Xbox just don't buy JRPGs at all. And again, from a business standpoint, if they can make more money by being paid by Sony to make it exclusive to PlayStation for a couple years, then it comes to PC eventually, than they would by not taking the hundreds of millions of dollars and just putting it on Xbox and probably not getting that much money from it, then, you know, why wouldn't they do that? Because statistics show the vast majority, or I should say overwhelming majority, of JRPGs that release on both PlayStation and Xbox sell overwhelmingly more on PlayStation than they do on Xbox. So from a business standpoint, it makes sense. So to say that there's no reason why they did this, that's completely false.
Whether because they dislike Xbox or PlayStation just you know, has that good D. I mean, or it's something about PlayStation that, you know, just stops some of these publishers from working on anything else or working with any other platform.
Yeah, that something is called money. Sony offered them lots of money. They wanted the lots of money, and they put it only on PlayStation and got the lots of money. Welcome to the world of business, my friend.
And I've come to the conclusion that Square Enix is the most garbage publisher, like, known to man. And I think Final Fantasy sucks ass. I think I like, sure, the game is cool. I know they got a couple gems in there here and there and whatnot, but the game is overrated.
So let me get this straight. Square Enix is a garbage publisher, and Final Fantasy sucks. It's so overrated. So why do you want it to come to Xbox then? If Final Fantasy is so bad, why do you care if it's on Xbox or not? Because clearly if it's so bad, you're not going to get it, right? And why would you want it on more platforms if they were so bad? Because if it's on more platforms, then that's just going to be more people giving them more money, including yourself, as you're about to admit a little later on, which makes you look like an even bigger hypocrite.
And I feel like their tactics is just getting so blatant lately. I can't even deal with, like, as an Xbox fan, right? We've been waiting for Final Fantasy Remake literally since it was announced for PlayStation. It was announced in 2015.
So you've been waiting for it since it was announced, but you hate the publisher and you think the game's overrated. If the game is so bad and overrated, then why have you been waiting so many years to play it? Oh wait, I know why. It's maybe because you actually don't think it's that bad and you're just an Xbox fanboy who's salty that it's not on your platform.
It was announced as an exclusive. It was timed exclusive, but it was only like, I feel like it was only timed for the PS4, and when it came out, by the time year 2 happened, it was ready to release on the PS5. And I'm trying to think what else. Did they go to the whatchamacallit? It's the Epic Game Store. Still not on Steam. Oh, now it comes to Steam. It comes to Steam. So that's as far as the exclusivity go. So I don't understand. My question is why? What's the point? What is it? What is it? What's the issue with having this game available on Xbox? What's so special about this stupid ass game?
Well, my question is, what's the problem with it not coming to Xbox? Because you've said multiple times in this video that it's overrated and you hate Square Enix. So why are you so salty that it's not coming to Xbox? You even called it a stupid butt game. And I just find this very hypocritical coming from an Xbox fanboy because, you know, Square Enix, didn't they make the Tomb Raider series? And wasn't one of the Tomb Raider games timed exclusive to the Xbox One back when it came out? Like, didn't Microsoft pay them to keep it exclusive to the Xbox One for a little bit? So I just find this very hypocritical coming from an Xbox fanboy. What was so special about Tomb Raider that made it so that had to be exclusive? Spoiler alert, it's not that there's anything special about the games or special about the platforms. It's the fact that, you know, in this case, Sony handed them a fat wad of cash and said, don't put this on Xbox, we'll give you this. And Microsoft did the same thing back when it came to Tomb Raider. Same exact situation, but of course we're going to ignore that one.
What's so special about it? I don't get it. Square Enix. What is so special about Final Fantasy VII Remake that you refuse to put it on Xbox?
Again, it's not that the game itself is special, it's the fat wad of cash that Sony handed them that's so special. And again, why do you care so much? If the game is so overrated and Square Enix is such a trash developer, why are you so upset about this? You're literally saying this game is garbage, it's overrated, give it to me now. Like, what? That doesn't even make sense.
You know what I mean? I don't get it. Like, Square Enix been lost me as a potential customer because they got rid of their better studios. You know what I mean? Like I said, they got one more game to release that I will be getting, which is Forspoken, and I'm only doing it for the culture at this point.
Bruh, this man is one of the biggest hypocrites I've ever seen outside of maybe Quantum TV, and that's about it. He just said that Square Enix lost him as a potential customer, and then immediately followed that up by saying he's gonna get Forspoken. Like, dude, what are you talking about? If you're gonna keep buying their products, then they're not losing you as a customer. You're telling them that everything they're they're doing is perfectly okay by continuing to buy this stuff. And you're probably going to say, oh, well, no, it's because after this, I'm going to be done buying their products. That doesn't send a message, dude. That tells them that every single time they release something that you're interested in, you like, you'll buy it. It doesn't matter what you think of them. The way you send a message is by refusing to buy stuff that you normally want to, because then that'll show, holy crap, like these people or this guy is, you know, he's not happy with this, and because of it, he's not buying this even though he really wants to. Maybe we should change something now. Is that what's going to happen? In this case, hell no. But again, the hypocrisy is just off the charts. He says that they lost him as a customer and then immediately says he's going to buy Forspoken.
Doing it for the culture. Let's see. Final Fantasy with a bunch of black characters, and I'm going to get it on PC, right?
So if the game is so overrated and it's so bad and Square Enix is such a trash company, not only apparently is he going to give them money for Forspoken, but he's also going to pay $70 for the PC port of Final Fantasy VII, the game he claims is so overrated and trash and he doesn't like it. Say it with me, kids. Hypocrisy.
They do this 15-minute, celebration to announce Final Fantasy VII Intergrade remake that they're bringing it to PC, and they got another version. I think it's called Rebirth, which is the sequel to the. Because how you make a trilogy out of? Damn, I just cut my knee up. How you make a trilogy out of one game?
I don't know exactly how because I know nothing about the game, but I just did some research. It looks like it takes about 30 to 35 hours to complete on average, and if you want to get 100% completion, it takes around 90 hours. So, yeah, honestly, I'd say they're doing a pretty good job.
They're remaking a game, right? They remade a game that came out in, what, 95, 97? I don't know what year it came out, but... And they sort of remade it, and now they turned it into a trilogy. Just another way to milk this franchise to oblivion.
So you're complaining that they're milking the franchise, but then you're still going to spend $70 on it on PC? Is anyone else picking up on a bit of a problem here, a bit of irony maybe? How can you say, oh, I don't like that they're milking it, like this is stupid, the game is bad, and then you're going to go ahead and invest in the product? If you want to send a message, don't buy the product. It's that simple. Again, hypocrisy.
So, they announced the sequel to it, which is called Rebirth. And guess where that's coming out? That's coming out for PlayStation and probably PC.
Oh my god, dude, you could taste the salt in that clip. Holy crap, he is mad upset that Final Fantasy isn't coming to Xbox, even though, he said it's overrated and it doesn't really matter.
Because that apparently Final Fantasy VII, that particular Final Fantasy can only run on games that have triangles and circles and squares. You know what I mean? Like, that thing can only run on a device that says PlayStation. We know it can run on Xbox. It can run on PC, whatever. So,
these are the most delicious salt and tears I've tasted since the amazing Lucas had his mental breakdown about Spider-Man going to PC.
Square Enix felt like they were doing us a favor by giving Xbox a PSP game. Was it Crisis Core? Final Fantasy is another form of Final Fantasy. You ain't getting a remake, but you're gonna get Crisis Core. It's just garbage. And I think, like, if I was, as an Xbox fan, like, I'm like, what the fuck, Square Enix? As an Xbox fan, I don't care for Square Enix. I think they suck. I think they're garbage. I think their games are trash. Square Enix serve no purpose to me as an Xbox customer. As an Xbox fan, Square Enix does nothing for me.
So let me get this straight. Square Enix sucks. They are trash. They serve no purpose to you, and their games are garbage. So why are you so desperate to get their games on your platform? If everything you just said is true, why do you care so much, and why do you have such a big problem with their games not being on Xbox? If they are such a bad developer, and if their games are so bad, why are you so desperate to get their games on Xbox?
You got rid of Tomb Raider, you got rid of Deus Ex, you got rid of the team that did Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. All the games that had remote interest in for Square Enix is all sold off to an Embracer Group, right?
Again, if you hate them so much, if they are such a bad developer, if they are trash, if their games are so bad, why are you so mad that they got rid of all this stuff and sold it off? Well, in the case of Tomb Raider, it's probably because, you know, it used to be an Xbox exclusive, but it was only timed, and now it's not an Xbox exclusive anymore, so you can't brag about it, so that's why you're salty.
And now you got this hunga boonga bullshit that's left over, the wrench rash repeat. We're gonna do a Final Fantasy 7 game, and then we're gonna do a Final Fantasy 18, 19, 20. You know what I mean? And maybe every other one, some subpar one we'll put on Xbox. So I'm just completely over it. I'm over Final Fantasy. I'm over Square Enix. And
so if you're so over it, why are you crying and whining and complaining that the games aren't on your precious Xbox? Explain that one. If you were over it, this video would have never been made.
If I'm Xbox, I wouldn't, like, I would work with every publisher out of Japan but Square Enix, because apparently Bandai Namco is doing a much better job. Sega is doing a much better job. Capcom is doing a much better job. Koei is doing a much better job. And damn, if Konami still made console games, I'm pretty sure they would be doing a much better job. Square Enix is trash.
And let me guess, those studios are better because they still put their games on Xbox. If Square Enix was still putting Final Fantasy VII on Xbox, then I guarantee you wouldn't be complaining. But then again, at the same time, why are you complaining if, again, you care so little about the games and you think they're so bad?
I will, after Forspoken, this is a caveat, after Forspoken, I would not buy another game from this publisher ever again. You better be lucky that I don't steal Forspoken, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna press X to doubt on this one. If they release any Final Fantasy games on Xbox, you're definitely gonna buy it. Also, you said you were buying Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC now that it's out on Steam, so again, cap.
So I'm not buying another Square Enix game again. The next time I play a Square Enix game, that's if it launches in Game Pass, then I'll play it. But
dude, they haven't even released Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox, and you think they're gonna put their stuff on Game Pass now? Good God, dude. And again, I find this very ironic because you said that you don't want to support them anymore. You're not gonna play their games because you think their games are trash. So then why are you all of a sudden gonna play them if they come to Game Pass? That makes no sense at all.
Other than that, I'm not really messing with Square Enix. I've had it with their teases. I'm not sure what's really special about them, but at this point, Square Enix should just sell their whole damn catalog to PlayStation. Should be cheap for PlayStation. They don't make anything unique anymore. They only make games for PlayStation, so this should be very, very cheap. Nobody loses.
Nobody loses except for Xbox fanboys like you. Also, this whole rant was about, you know, they should put their games on Xbox. Like, oh, what's so special about the games? Why aren't they going on Xbox? But then you're also saying that nobody would lose if it was sold to Sony, which would definitely make all those games exclusive. But then you're going to complain more about the games being exclusive. Like, what is even going on right now? I'm getting so twisted around in my head. And honestly, this video is about to end, which thank God, because I'm actually getting confused now.
PlayStation, buy Square Enix, 500,000. Should be able to close the deal fairly easy. Fairly easy. Matter of fact, I'll buy 10 more of these shirts before I buy a Final Fantasy game. That's the video. Xbox is the best box, and I am the best bot. And if you want to look like me, go to intotheam.com/kidsmooth. Peace.
Well, you guys heard him. He said he was going to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC earlier in the video, but apparently now he's just not going to buy a Final Fantasy VII game at all. Again, hypocrisy and just general stupidity, which is no surprise coming from a console fanboy. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Basically, what we learned today is Square Enix sucks and Final Fantasy sucks, but they still need to put their games on Xbox, according to Xbox fanboys, who are definitely not salty that it's an exclusive to PlayStation. But anyway, guys, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. We're about to hit 500 subs. I'm sure we will off this video, so thank you guys so much for that. It really does mean the world to me. We're just about halfway to 1K, and I know we can make it. And thank you to everyone who has been subbed for coming on this journey with me. It's been absolutely wild. And if you did make it this far, I just want to say, if you have any other like fanboys you want me to react to or something, please link them down below, because honestly, I'm having trouble finding finding videos to commentate over, so hopefully we can figure that out. I might be live tonight. I'm not sure. I think I'll probably be going live tonight. We'll probably be playing some Fall Guides and some Shino Numa and Vanguard Zombies. So do look forward to that. But anyway, guys, again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.